What's good? So I'm watching the rideshare professor, and this video says two phones side by side, same time, different surge offers, $6.25, and another surge offer which was $10. And it's just really funny. And again, I don't know. I think he's just trying to turn the drivers against the companies, but are some drivers really falling for this ignorant stuff? Are they falling for this ignorant stuff? So let me break it down and explain to you why the professor is wrong. So the side-by-side comparison, he's saying that one driver is getting I think it's a $6 offer surge, and then the other driver is getting a $10 surge. Same map, same area, same location is what he's also stating. He's asking if they treat drivers differently and if they treat the passenger different. So let's evaluate why the different drivers are receiving different surge amounts. First off, most of the time, I'm not going to say most of the time, but sometimes Lyft is only trying to pay you back the money that they already taken. Meaning, yesterday or a week ago, there was a ride where Lyft made $15 off that ride. You only made $3 or $4 off the ride. So they're taking some of the the amount that they overcharged the passenger, and they're putting it onto a bonus to motivate you to get you online or to accept more trips. The cases can be different as far as how they're why they're giving you the money, but they're giving you the money because they owe you the money. If you call Lyft and you say, hey, you charged my passenger $28, but you only paid me $8 on that ride, what are they going to tell you? They're going to tell you that the overcharges to passengers go towards your surges and bonuses and turbo and things of that nature. You're not always receiving a bonus based off of what the current passenger is charging. They're harvesting that money and they're keeping that money because there are going to be times where they need you to do a longer distance pickup. Times where it's going to be congested traffic and things of that nature. Now, I don't necessarily approve of the method. I want to get paid my money now. I don't know if I'm going to be online tomorrow. I don't know if I'm going to be online next week. I distinctively remember seeing this one driver, I believe it was the Uber driver, no, it was the Lyft driver, posted up a video where they had two rides. They had to complete two rides. That's what their ride challenge was. And they were going to get a $90 bonus. So they stayed online. They just looked for two short trips because they usually was driving Uber. And so they got online and they completed the two trips, and then they got the $90 from the ride challenge. These trips were short trips. Where did the $90 come from? If we're only getting bonuses based off what the passengers that we accept the rides on, and that bonus is coming from those particular passengers, then why did he get $90 and he did two short trips? They didn't charge each one of those passengers $45 extra on those rides. He got that bonus because they already owed him the money. So in other words, you're putting money in a barrel. Here's a $5, here's a $10, here's a $6. All of this money is being put in a barrel, is being calculated, and you're constantly tossing money into that barrel. All right, Lyft is tossing money into that barrel, overcharges your percentage, your cut of that. And they're going to release that and empty that barrel by giving you a ride challenge, by giving you turbo, all of these things. That's how they're paying for those bonuses. This is why you can ask a passenger, how much did you get paid for the ride? I mean, you get charged for the ride, and the passenger is like, oh, I only got paid charged $6 for this ride. But you distinctively remember that they offered you $10. So why is it that the passenger paid $6, but you got paid $10? Like, is Lyft paying for people's rides? We know that they're not paying for the ride, but you had overages that they had to pay you. That's why. they don't explain this stuff to drivers, and they don't explain it when you take them to court and everything. And you know why they don't explain it? Is because they're fixing everything. They rather just go ahead and pay out the money and everything. They're going to keep the system the way it is because for them, it's effective. It's effective. And they're not trying to change the way that they're operating. So again, let's just say the week before or maybe the month before, there's a total of $100 that was overcharged to passengers. If we go off at a 70% little thing or whatever, then yeah, Lyft may owe you $70. So they're going to look at, well, what hours does this driver usually work? Okay, well, we're going to offer bonuses around those hours. That's why when you're working 3 or 4 hours in the morning, a couple hours in the afternoon, and some hours at night, this is why your bonus hours will end up being more sporadic and moved around versus being straight bonus hours because you haven't been working straight hours. Now, again, we've noticed as a driver, you've noticed where there are times where on the app that the bonus hours can be straight, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, and sometimes they will move around, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and then 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. And sometimes when you go online, you're thinking that it's going to be busy because they're offering a bonus hour, but it ends up being slow. It ends up being slow. And if you look here on my app right here, it's showing 2 to 3 p.m., 20% turbo, 2 to 3 p.m. And then you're looking at a $2 bonus also on top of that between 3 and 4. I'm sorry, not on top of that because it's different hours. Here you have the $2 bonus hour, and that's between 3 and 4 o'clock. And then at between 3 and 4 o'clock p.m., same exact day, to a 30% bonus on this particular hour. So not only am I going to get paid 30% turbo on each one of the rides, but also a $2 bonus hour. Are they going to be overcharging all of those passengers? No, they're not. Especially, they don't know what rides I'm going to accept. Okay? And so, again, where's the money coming from? It's not always the current passenger. I don't think it ever is the current passenger. I think it's the past riders that you have had in your car. It doesn't make sense to offer. That's like a candy bar. Okay, that's like a store offering people 2 for $1 candy bar. You know what? I'm gonna scratch that concept because I lost train of thought. I don't even know where I was going with that. You know, also look at this one right here. You notice that this particular trip, the upfront pay was $19.09. $19.09. Let's see what the passenger paid. The passenger paid $18.45. My total earnings on that ride was $21.11 is what my earnings were on that ride. Number one, the passenger was, I believe the passenger was late at the pickup, and I waited for that passenger. But again, looking up here, you see that the upfront pay was $19.09. $19.09. Does anybody see any tip on this ride? It says the base earnings $15.91, the turbo $3.18, the wait time at the stop, because there was a stop, $2.02. Now again, noticing here, it doesn't make any sense. How are they making any money if they're paying me more than what they charge the passenger? Now, I already know what somebody is going to say. They probably just didn't show what the passenger really actually paid because this doesn't make any sense. But I have talked to passengers before, and I have actually heard them tell me that they only paid, let's say, $10 for the ride, but I was paid $13 or $14. Again, that doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. Sometimes Lyft does, sometimes passengers do get vouchers. Sometimes Lyft is giving them credits on rides and everything. And so they may be upcharged on that ride. So let's say a person had $20 worth of credit. Their ride cost $8, but Lyft charged them $16. The person will still book it because they're like, oh, it's a credit anyway. But what they don't realize is that Lyft is just trying to make sure you run out of credits, and by the end of the day, you're going to end up with no credits at all on your on your trips. I'm gonna see if I can find another one. As you can see, this is June 12th and it's $217 on this particular trip. Let's look at this trip right here. This trip right here, the upfront pay was $11.16. Now, they only charged the passenger $12.54. $12.54. And again, the upfront pay was $11.16. Now, I ended up making $13.16 on this particular ride. And that's because of the $2 tip that you see right there. And again, as I said before, when we look at it, it says $11.16 it was the upfront fare, although the passenger paid $12.54. Now, I ended up making $13.16 because it went up $2 because of the tip that was added on there. But again, Lyft ended up paying me almost the whole entire fare on this particular ride. Now, again, we have to factor in that sometimes they, again, this is another thing right here. Like the professor was saying, two drivers offer two different surge amounts. Number one, when it comes down to when one driver declines a ride, the ride is sent to another driver at a higher payout. It'll keep going up until it meets its maximum threshold. Then the driver gets bumped out of the queue. I mean, not the driver, but the passenger gets bumped out of the queue. When they go to request a ride again, the payout for the ride, the payout for the ride goes up and the price for the ride goes up. So now Lyft has more wiggle room to offer more to the drivers, but they just start everything all over again. So if the original offer being sent to drivers was at $4, that was where it started at, it's going to still start at $4 when the passenger requests a ride again and they're paying more the second time. But the maximum threshold goes up. And this is why drivers need to cherry pick, because of that right there. But here's the thing, the YouTubers, they're not explaining this to the drivers. They just say cherry pick. Don't accept anything under this. Only $2 a mile and blah, blah, blah. They don't actually explain to you that the payout for that ride will continue to go up until it reaches the maximum threshold where Lyft can't make any money off of it, or the total amount that the passenger is paid is being offered to the driver. Now, throughout the day, there are going to be times where, of course, Lyft has to push to make their money. So they can't do that too often, but they're going to do it as often as they need to, or that they can, what they feel like they have to do. So yeah, we can sit here and we can say, well, they're fixing it, and what you're seeing is the passenger payment was probably higher. There ain't no way that they paid you all the money, or that the passenger paid that amount. It could have been more, it could have been less, blah, blah. I get it. People are going to say all kinds of stuff because they want to think that these companies are wicked and that they're scamming drivers and that they're scamming passengers. That is true. I don't want to wait for my money. I want to get paid my money now. If the passenger paid $10 and I'm supposed to get paid 70%, I want my $7. I don't want $5 and then $2 go into that barrel and I get that money, next week or 3 days from now. I don't want that. If the passenger ended up paying, like I said before, if the passenger paid 10 and I'm supposed to get 70%, I want my $7. I want my $7. But Lyft only pays you the 70% after the tax, after the commercial auto insurance. Yes, they get a kickback from the insurance and who knows from whatever else and everything. So again, at the end of the day, it's not really 70% even after the taxes and the insurance gets taken out. But they can always argue that fact, which is the fact is Lyft and Uber, I'm not even gonna say Uber, but just Lyft, has already claimed it's 70% after fees. That's why when they first told us that, and they first came to us with that, you had YouTubers, I'm not even going to mention names, but you had YouTubers that were sitting out here, showing they were showing the information inside the app, and they were comparing what they were paid versus what Lyft paid them, what the passenger was charged versus what Lyft paid them. And they said, oh, this ain't 70%. Look at this ain't 70%. Lyft literally said after fees. After fees. So that's why I really went off, I think on a video before, that, come on now, y'all not listening to what they saying. That's how they screw y'all over, because you think one way, and then for about a day or two, they get excessive amounts of work out of you before you start to realize, oh, it was after fees. Duh, that's what they said in the first place. So what is the confusion about? So I want to wrap this video up because it's going a lot longer than what I wanted it to go. But like I said, be careful who you listen to. You don't really know if they're driving, if their apps are even active or anything like that. You know, so, but even if they are active, even if they do drive from time to time, they're not really, some of these people are not really out in the field the way that they claim to be out in the field, and they don't really care as much as they claim to actually care, especially when they're giving you information that is misleading. All right? You have to be determined to make your own money, because if you listen to people, they'll discourage you and you'll go offline and they get what they want, which is less drivers online, and there's more time for them to make money, because if it's less drivers online, the prices are going to go up and the payout for rides are going to go up. But I will tell you the same thing I've always told people. Please do not be accepting trash offers. Don't accept trash offers. But you also need to understand that your bonuses are going to be based off of how much money Lyft made off of you that particular week. And they may have a projection on what they need to make off of each driver in your market. And so if they meet that projection, they give out the bonuses. They don't meet the projection, they may not give out the bonuses. They still need to cover their costs and everything. And again, like I said, I am not sitting here trying to defend them. I'm trying to say, attack them in areas where they really are messing up. Not trying to sit here and say, oh, look at this, what's going on? All you're doing is catering to the few subscribers or people who agree to everything that you're saying. But the masses, the people that know how the system works, they're going to be looking like, man, I get sick and tired of listening to this person because they're lying or because they're misleading others and everything. Stick to what we know is going on and stop trying to make videos that are all about your agenda, which is just to cater to everybody's anger, because everybody's pissed off that they're not making enough money. And I've told people before to make a chart. Make a chart, base a chart based off of whatever you want to make. My chart is based off of time. It's not based off of miles. People say, oh, $2 a mile, $2 a mile and everything like that. Look, at the end of the day, if I go based off of this chart right here, which is based off of 45 cents a minute, I can make $27 an hour. Am I going to do a 60-minute trip? No, I'm not going to do a 60-minute trip. I have each minute broke down. However, what I do know, and I'm actually going to back out and show you this other chart. And this chart right here is based off of 36 cents per minute, which is 0.361. And that comes up to $21.66. So if I base what rides I accept, which my max amount of time would probably be about 20, maybe 22 minutes because of wait times and everything or whatever. So if I base it off of this chart, what rides I do accept, then I'm going to make the $21.60 times 12 hours. That comes to $259. Gas would be $40, $219 is what I end up making. And at the end of the week after gas, I'll be making $1,533. And on a monthly basis, $6,132 after gas, $73,584 on a yearly basis. Total amount that I would spend on gas is $14,600. And I'll be honest with you, a lot of times I kind of struggle with even this chart right here, even though I know this would be an excellent goal, you know, to hit and everything. I sometimes feel, a struggle, because a 20-minute drive between, and this chart is based off of the total time between pickup and drop off. But look like the 20 minutes, $7.20. Sometimes I struggle with accepting an offer like that because the miles might be still high and I still have to respect the amount of miles that I put on my car. And so a lot of times, like, the pickup could be 1 minute and the passenger is traveling 19 minutes, and it may end up being, 14 miles. 14 miles that I'm gonna put on my car. And it's like, I don't want to do that for no $7.20. And it's just like, so again, like I said, sometimes it's a struggle with this, but if I were to just stick to these times and these payout amounts, then at the end of the day, I will hit my daily goal of $260. However, I'm not going to be driving 12 hours straight. There's going to be wait time on rides, so I need to make more. This is why I oftentimes I use my my 45 cent a minute chart, which is the $27 an hour chart. That's the one that I prefer to use, but I noticed that I will spend a lot more time not making any money. I spend a lot more time waiting to get offers that have this payout versus the offers that they normally send in to me. So even though I prefer to use this chart, sometimes I don't use the chart. But in real honesty, you as a driver, I mean, what do you think? Don't you think $27 an hour is good money? $21.60 that on the previous chart. Do you think that that's good money, especially if you can achieve those goals at the end of the week? Again, yes, we have gas, we have maintenance costs and all this other stuff. But if we're sitting here just waiting on rides and you're doing less rides, you're making less money. The goal is to make as much money as you can. And if you, hopefully you have a business idea or something that you're investing in or something that can have a heavy return for you. I do mobile detailing. Well, I don't really do the mobile detailing. People bring me their cars, but I hand business cards out to my passengers and I stop at gas stations and I tape my business card to the pump. And that brings me in business and everything. So again, like I've already explained to in this video, having another way to make money is imperative. If you do carpentry, hand out cards. If you do electrical work, hand out cards. Plumbing, mechanical work, hand out cards. So you can accumulate more money and actually, because you're just using this to really get around and throw out cards. Go to gas stations. While you're waiting on an offer, hand out those business cards or tape them up to pumps or anything like that. I mean, there's other opportunities to make money as well. But I'm getting off target right now, and I done made this video way longer than what it should be, especially consider my whole rant has been off of a video that's only 1 minute and 14 seconds. But like I said, why are they showing different surges on here? It could be because one driver is closer than the other passenger. It really is mainly based off of the fact that they owe the drivers money anyway. So their payout for surges is going to be different. Whole video, that's what it was all about. What he's doing right here, if you've been doing this as long as you've been doing this, Professor, I'm sorry. I like you. I am subscribed to your channel because I like the videos that you put out in regards to driver safety, the dangers in doing this and things of that nature. I like those videos. I appreciate those videos, and that's why I'm subscribed to the channel. I'm not subscribed to the channel to hear this bull crap. If you're desperate, you don't know what kind of videos to put out or something like that, maybe you need to move on to a different subject. Because I'm sorry, buddy, but this one ain't it. This one ain't it. If you don't understand these two different screens that you have on your video, these two different phones, if you don't understand that by now, as long as you've been doing this, as many drivers that you signed up, the fact that you are what do they call it? A part of a co-op and everything, or whatever, and part owner or investor or whatnot. If you don't understand this stuff and you claim that all of these things to have achieved these levels of success, I don't know what to say to you, man. I don't know what to say to you if you don't get it, if you don't understand. And it's funny because I remember with the co-op thing or whatever, you know, when he first was talking about it, he was all excited about it and saying this and saying that. And then when he found out that there are all kinds of stipulations and rules and laws and everything or whatever, he changed his tune on that one. He changed his tune and everything because he had signed up a lot of drivers into it and then promises wasn't kept or whatever, you know. But it takes time to build a company, and sometimes you can end up going into debt before you start being profitable. But in that course of time, you have to have capital to allow you to run that business accurately and everything. You run out of capital, then you have to bring in investors. The stuff happens, you know, and because you have two corporate giants like Uber and Lyft out here, yeah, it's going to be hard to take over their markets and end up being at the top and everything. But it's possible. It can happen. We remember the city taxi was at the top. The catch with the apps is that you can track your ride. The catch with the apps, not only could you track your ride, but you knew exactly what you were going to pay for the ride. You didn't have to worry about somebody taking the wrong road or taking the longest way or whatever issues that people were having with the city taxi. And so that was the catch with these apps. You have to be able to catch everybody's attention with your app. You have to differentiate, however you say it, whatever. I can't right now. But you have to be able to be different and be set aside. Something has to be different about your app, about your service. And I'm sick of people thinking the way for it to be different is to be cheaper. To be cheaper, especially at the cost of other people. And that's what Lyft and Uber has done. They're trying to be cheaper. You had already ran the city taxi down. You've already proven your concept. You don't have to be cheaper. You're paying drivers less money, but you're making more on a yearly basis. So you just decided to stop giving drivers bonuses and put the bonus in your pocket. I do apologize for making this video this long. But again, like I said, don't have an issue with the professor. I just think that his content, he needs to probably just, you know, try to focus on, you know, actual truth and stop trying to play these games. Like I said, there's quite a few different things I could say why different drivers will receive different offers. Okay. And it may, you know, we already know we got different tiers and everything, whatnot. So one of these drivers could have a van. One of them could have a Premier or whatever. Because this is the Uber app. So again, one of them could be on different tiers. So showing screenshots without showing what tier the driver is on, as far as do they have pets on? Do they have, you know, all options? Do they have them turned on? Does Uber offer more money to drivers that have the food activated and the driver app? Do they offer more money if you have the pets on and everything? So all of these things are a factor. But one thing that may be a factor is the fact that one of those drivers may have been right there in the area. And they wanted that driver to take that ride. I can't really see in the video. I can't see the bottom of the screen. And so I don't know if the drivers are offline or if the drivers are actually online. One driver might be online, and that's why they're being offered less money. The other driver may be offline, and that's why they see more money. You see where I'm getting at? It's just way too many things to assume on why one driver is seeing a higher bonus rather than the other driver. It may be because one driver that has a higher acceptance rate will see more bonuses because they're going to lose more money. If you have a higher acceptance rate, you're putting more miles on your car. You're losing more money because you're picking up more passengers. So they may find that it's better off to offer that person more money to balance out what they're losing because they accept so many rides. Like I said, there's probably about 1,000 more reasons to why Uber would be offering one driver more money than they offered another driver. So we can't just jump to this assumption that, it's because they're scamming or they're favoring other drivers over this and that and everything. Man, again, sometimes the focus can be on the wrong things and you will lack the motivation and you'll start playing these games and it messes up your account. It messes up your account. There is a business in distracting people. It is a business in distracting people, especially in this, in manipulating people to where they will stop accepting so many rides or they stop being productive and everything. There is a mission statement in that by itself. I appreciate you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. And again, I don't have anything against the professor, but you're feeding everybody bull. You are feeding everybody bull. If you want me or anybody to believe that these offers are different because they're just being choosy or picky on who's going to make more and everything, yeah, like I said, there's too many things that I can speculate on to why the surge areas would be completely different than the other surge area. And before you comment, yes, the time is the exact same time in the app. It's 11:31 on both screens. I don't know if one is AM and the other one is PM. I doubt it. It's probably the exact same time as far as AM and PM. But like I said before, the difference, there's a lot of reasons why it can be different. Oh, another scam call. Appreciate you. Please like, share, and subscribe. Have a good one.